Hi everybody. So, sorry this isn't the most glamorous shot here, but I'm just laying in bed and I'm getting lots of rest. There's a couple of things I need to go over and talk about. First off, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody for all of their comments and personal PMs that I have received on my last video. Because that was a very emotional day for me, and all of you have just been so wonderful and have reached out to me in so many different ways, and I can't even start to begin to say thank you, because sometimes just thank you isn't enough when you take your time to write me and email me or send me a message through YouTube. We all have busy lives. We have children, we have relationships, we have work, we have all kinds of things that are going on in our own personal lives. And for you to take the time to write to me, pray for me, I'm very humble and very grateful for that. So thank you. I am feeling a lot better. I do still have my days where my anxiety kicks in and I get really nervous and the fear sets in, but I have to keep turning to my faith and know that, it's in God's hands, and just keep praying, pray and pray and pray. And sometimes I feel like, God must be so tired of me. I mean, he's got so much other bigger things to think about in the world. And I know that that's not true, but, I'm just saying, I pray to him and talk to him every single day. And it really does help. And then last night, well, actually, let me just back things up. Yesterday, I called my mom at work. And when I was dialing her number, I put the wrong area code in, and it was ringing. It rang like 3 times, and then when I looked at the phone, I looked at the number and I go, oh my gosh, I put the wrong area code in, so I hung up. So then I redialed and I got a hold of my mom and I talked to her for a couple minutes, and then we hung up, and I would say probably 5 minutes later, the phone number that I called that was wrong called me, and I didn't answer it. And then they called me back 5 minutes later, and so I answered it, and it was a man, sounded like Hispanic, he had an accent, and he said, "Did you call my phone number?" And I said, "Yes, I did." And I said, "It was an accident, I'm sorry." And he started kind of like spatting off, and I couldn't understand what he was saying. And I hung up. Well, a half hour later, the man proceeds to call me 8 more times. And I don't answer the phone. I'm watching my niece, and I don't answer it. So I call my husband at work. I tell him what's going on. He says if he calls again, he says block the number, because you can block his number. So I blocked his number. So then that stopped him from calling me. But then the guy starts to call me from an unknown number. So he has blocked his own number. And I know it's him. There's nobody else that would be calling me right after he just called me, and now it's an unknown. So, like he's playing with this twist tie thing that came off something, and he just is in love with it. Like, no cat toy will live up to this twist tie. And no, I don't let him play with these because they are dangerous and they could get caught in his tummy, and he doesn't eat them. He just plays around with him on the bed with his little hand. So I let him have like 5 minutes of fun, and then I take it away because I don't want him, to eat it or, I don't know, swallow it or something. So I just let him play with it on the bed until I take it away because I'm supervising him while he's playing with it. But anyway, so the guy keeps calling me. I literally had 12 missed calls from that unknown number. So my husband gets home, he calls T-Mobile, that's my carrier, and they told me there's nothing they can do besides me blocking his original phone number. They cannot do anything if he has an unknown number. Then my husband calls the police tell him the same thing. So at this point the guy is harassing me now. So the guy calls again, and this time Jarrett answers the phone, and Jarrett says hello, hello, and the guy won't say anything. And then finally, after the third hello, the guy says something, and he's like, I got a call from this phone. And my husband says, yes, you did, and it was a mistake. My wife called your phone by accident, and why do you keep calling her and harassing her? And the man said, well, I want her to apologize to me for calling my phone number. And my husband said, apologize for what? It was an accident. It's not like she prank called you and hung up on you on purpose. And my husband says, she is not going to apologize. You quit harassing my wife. And he hangs up. The man, before he hangs up with Jarrett, or Jarrett hung up on him, the man said, well, I'm going to keep calling her phone until she changes her number. Now, can you believe how psychotic you have to be? There are so many things going on in the world. So many horrible things happening around us every single day. And this man wants to make my life miserable by calling and harassing me at all times during the day until I change my phone number. Now, what kind of human being is this person who has no life? And not only that, because he gets ticked off because I called him on accident. Who holds a grudge on an accidental phone call that you call? Could you imagine if you did something worse to this man? What would he do? Shoot you? I don't understand it. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. And the more I try to think about this individual, the more disturbed this person must be. And I really feel sorry for them because obviously they have some mental issues and some huge problems. So he didn't stop calling, guys. He called last night. He called in the middle of the night. I had my phone on vibrate because I have to have it on just in case it's an emergency. I don't have a landline. That's my main phone besides my husband's phone. And he called again this morning 4 times he called this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I haven't received a phone call from him this afternoon. What time is it actually? It's 8 o'clock. So he called me 4 times around 5 in the morning. So he hasn't called me at all right now. So either he's at work or I don't know. But he is not giving up. And there's nothing I can do except change my phone number. And I've had the same phone number since I was, 16 years old. I've had the same phone number. So changing my phone number is not an option because I have had it so long. There are so many people that have my phone number. Friends, families, doctor's offices, all kinds of places. I would have to call and give them my phone number. It would be a real headache. So I'm going to give it 2 more days, see what happens, see if this idiot will leave me alone. If not, then worst case scenario, I'm going to change my number because I don't need this stress while being pregnant. It's just ridiculous. So that was the first part of my evening, or day, I should say. Then I was making dinner last night, and I had kind of like a sharp little twinge in my cervix. And I go, "Ooh, that's weird." It didn't feel like a cramp. It just felt, it's kind of hard to explain. So I sat down. I told Jarrett to finish dinner. And then I went, and this might be TMI, guys, so I'm just letting you know now. If you do not want to hear what I'm going to talk about with pregnancy issues, just turn the video off right now, because this is what I'm going to talk about. And if it's too much information for you to handle, I understand. Just go ahead, and I'm giving you a warning now. Just turn it off. So I went to the bathroom to go pee, and when I wiped, I seen blood. And that instantaneously sent me into panic mode. Seeing blood is very scary when you're pregnant. It's the last thing you want to see. I have had no bleeding in my pregnancy, period. So then all of a sudden this has arisen. I immediately called my on-call nurse, and she called me back, and I told her what was going on. And she asked me, "Do you have any?" She started going over a list of questions, and I was saying no, no, no to every question that she was asking me. She said, "That's good." She said, "The bleeding is probably from the progesterone that you are on." The progesterone that I'm on, guys, is a vaginal suppository, and it's a cream. I have to take 2 times a day, and it's called Crinone, and it is horrible. Let's just tell you that. I'm not going to go into too much into detail, but just imagine putting cream in a certain area, and I've been doing it now for almost a month. It can build up, and she said that can happen, and it can cause bleeding. She said, "Are you having any severe cramping or pain in your abdominal area?" And I told her no. She said, "Okay, you need to rest. You need to, just stop what you're doing, get into bed and lay down." She says, "Put a pad on and see how much you're bleeding. That'll let you know and keep track." So, of course, I'm all worked up, you guys, my anxiety went through a roof. I thought I was going to start hyperventilating. Jarrett came in the room. He had to calm me down, because I just had a flashback of my first pregnancy and losing it, and I started to lose it. I just said, "I can't go through this. I can't have a pregnancy loss again. I'm not strong enough. I can't go through something like this again." So I calmed down, and when I got off the phone with her, I felt like I needed to use the restroom again. And when I did, there was more bleeding, and it was darker, and I actually passed a clot. I was horrified. That even sent me even to more of a panic attack, and I immediately called Jarrett into the room. I had him call the doctor again. She called me back, the nurse, and I told her what happened, and she goes, "Calm down. It's okay. This happens. I have had tons of women pass clots. It's okay. You're not having this. You're not having that, right?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Are you bleeding right now?" I said, "No." She goes, "Okay, we will get you in this morning or tomorrow morning. I'll fit you somewhere in with your doctor, but she's not in, so you're going to have to see the other physician." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." So that was around 7 o'clock last night, and after I got off the phone with her the second time, I had very light spotting, but I wouldn't say heavy bleeding, but the bleeding stopped. So let's just say I didn't have a good night's sleep last night. I was tossing and turning. I was up late, got up early this morning. I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep, and I had to go to the bathroom again, and I was petrified to use the restroom to see what I was going to see. I was literally panicking. So I went to the bathroom because I had to go, and when I went, there was no blood. Nothing. My pad was absolutely dry, and I was fine. I just began to pray and prayed and prayed until I started crying. And my husband went to work, and I called my nurse at the doctor's office this time, and I told her what had happened. And she said, "That's wonderful news." She said, "I was thinking about you all last night, and if something was going to happen, like a miscarriage, I would have been bleeding through the night and also into this morning. And I have not." So she said that's a very good sign. She said that I did not need to come in. She said, "I have my appointment Tuesday with my regular doctor, and she feels confident that she doesn't need to see me today unless I feel that it's necessary." And I told her no, that I didn't feel that it was necessary, that I felt okay, I feel good. I was very scared last night, but then something just told me, like, it's gonna be okay. So that's pretty much what's going on right now. I'm just keeping calm, and I'm laying here with Lucky. He's keeping me company as always. Our animals are always there when we need them, aren't they? And he is always there for me when I'm not feeling good or I'm sad. He jumps up on the bed and he just lays by me all day. He's like my best friend, this cat. It makes me think of Memphis and how much I miss him. But I just wanted to say, if I could still have your guys' prayers, I'd greatly appreciate them. I have my doctor's appointment on Tuesday as scheduled. So over the course of this weekend, I just have to take it easy, stay off my feet, and lay low and leave it in God's hands. There's really nothing I can do. Nothing I can do to prevent anything from happening. I just have to just let things run its course and see my doctor on Tuesday. I really did not want to see that other male physician. He's the one I had made a complaint about, and he's the last person who I would want to see today if there was something wrong. So, yeah, thank God the bleeding has stopped, and like the nurse said, this is typical in the first trimester to have bleeding. Like she said, she sees a lot of women in her office that have had the same thing that I have had, and they've had perfectly healthy pregnancies, and there is no issues. So I just have to wait, guys, and Tuesday is right around the corner, so I can do it and I can get through it. I just wanted to make this quick update. I'm sorry I haven't been making videos. I just been trying to focus on this pregnancy and just trying to relax every day and babysit, and I just haven't felt in the mood to make a video with the reborns right now because of other things that have been on my mind. So thank you for hanging in there and being there with me on this journey. I appreciate and love all of you guys, and thank you so much for being there for me. Alright, I'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye.